could see them kind of grab onto each other and have to be separated. They would talk throughout the entire time. And there's the capper.
And Russ is telling him, Russ is in Baisley's face, telling him not to do that. Head of the game clock. Russell Westbrook loses it, out of bounds, OKC. They're not going to foul for the tie. Not there with one, and OKC comes into Staples Center and beats the Lakers with a 19-point comeback.
So, the Lakers find themselves in a troubling situation. With a 5-5 record, it has them currently ranked as the 10th best team in the Western Conference. Yeah, pretty pitiful, especially by Lakers standards, given that the goal for this team is to win an NBA championship and they're off to a mediocre start. Furthermore, many would assume that the first 10 games of the season have been a cupcake schedule for the Lakers, playing the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder twice, both teams that are tanking, while also playing the Spurs in overtime and only having 3 wins against those teams. But never mind that. What this video is going to be about is the concerns I do have about the Los Angeles Lakers, and that the concerns are more glaring than you might think, and that I'm going to try to highlight as many of them as possible in this video. So make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay updated, and let me not waste any more of your time by jumping right into this video. So the first thing you should be concerned about is their defense, and they are simply bad defensively. Even though they are currently ranked as a 12th best defensive team in the NBA, according to NBA.com, when you watch them play and look at the box scores of those games, some teams should not have scored as many points as they did. For example, the OKC Thunder scored 123 points against the Lakers in their first game. The Houston Rockets scored 117 points against the Lakers in their second game. And the Spurs scored 121 points against the Lakers in their first game. But returning to the 2 OKC games, the Los Angeles Lakers had a 26-point lead in the first game and a 19-point lead in the second game, and still managed to lose both of those games. The Lakers offense tends to go 2 to 3 minutes without scoring at all, and during those minutes, they're not even playing defense either, allowing teams to make relatively easy comebacks. Their perimeter defense is just god-awful. They just allow players to blow by quite easily. Other than Avery Bradley and Kent Bazemore in spurts, the opposing players are just able to go and attack the basket practically at will. We saw this with Shea. He was getting to the basket really easily, kicking out to shooters. Same thing with Chris Paul, getting easy mid-range shots very easily for these two players. They're great players, no doubt, but they shouldn't be able to score so easy on the Lakers defense to this degree. And it's not only these two players, it's other players as well I didn't even name. The Lakers defense, I do believe, is going to get better, but not to the degree that they were last year. They were the #1 defensive ranked team in the league last year, in spite of AD and LeBron missing significant portion of the season last season. While we're on the subject, let me talk about Anthony Davis. We've grown accustomed to him being a good perimeter defender, but so far this season, he has been relatively a poor perimeter defender this season. When he's been asked to switch out onto guards or even guard forwards, he's been getting blown by too much, even to my liking. He's been great at paint protection and getting blocks this season, but what separates AD from other good defensive bigs is his ability to switch out onto guards and guard them very well. But so far this season, I've seen Jay Crowder blow by him multiple times in the game, and he's known as a 3-and-D player. AD would have not done that a year ago. So perhaps we've seen a regression on AD's part in that regard. But strictly offensively, he's been great. He's been attacking the paint as well as he's ever been. He's shooting decently from the mid-range area. I'd like him to take a little bit less, but he's been pretty much solid on that end. Aside from his perimeter defense, 2 concerns about AD right now are his 3-point shooting and his health. Currently, Anthony Davis is only shooting 18% from 3, which is well below his averages. He has not shot this poorly since his 4th year in the league, when he attempted at least 1 3-point shot per game. Do I believe his 3-point percentage will stay at 18%? Hell no. But this is something we need to look into, because if he's going to be shooting this low from the 3-point line, it's not going to bode well for the Lakers in the long run, because you have Russell Westbrook in the lineup, and to best optimize Russell Westbrook play style, you'll need at least 4 shooters on the court with Russell Westbrook. Am I asking Anthony Davis to shoot 40% from 3? No, but I'm asking him to shoot at least 33 to 32% from 3 because he showed me he's able to shoot at that level consistently in his past years. And then there's his health, man. It seems like AD always has some type of small injury almost every single time I watch a Lakers game, which is concerning because this isn't some new news about Anthony Davis that he's injury prone. Even in his most recent game that they played the Portland Trailblazers, after the first quarter, AD had to leave the game because he was dealing with a stomach illness, problems that may or may not be resolved come time postseason. But another factor is Frank Vogel. He has been horrible with his rotations. I've seen him put a lineup with Russell Westbrook, Rajon Rondo, and Dwight Howard on the court together for 7 minutes. I never, ever want to see that again with my own 2 eyes. And we are this far into the season, and yes, I'm saying 10 games is far from my point. Into the season that in 2021, you are still starting DeAndre Jordan. Please, I want to know if I'm missing something. Maybe I just don't have a high level of basketball intelligence that somehow I don't know what value DeAndre Jordan is giving you for you to always start him. DeAndre Jordan is way past his prime. He's not this freakishly athlete that he used to be when he was on the Clippers, and he is a disaster defensively. If you want to play him in spurts during the game, sure. I don't agree, but fair. You need some size sometimes during the game. So yes, play him. But I don't understand why is he starting at the 5 and not Anthony Davis. Yes, majority of the game, Anthony Davis is playing the 5 for majority of the minutes statistically. But why wouldn't you, as a coach, want Anthony Davis at the 5 to set the tone of the game? It does not make sense to me. And now my biggest concern about the Lakers is Russell Westbrook. And I've been pretty consistent about this even before the season if you look at my other videos. So before I get into it, I don't want to seem like I'm some hater or I'm just bashing Westbrook because that's the cool thing to do nowadays. As I stated earlier, some of the blame has to go to Frank Vogel because the lineups he's having out there for Westbrook is not best optimizing his play style. And the Lakers are missing players. They're missing Kendrick Nunn. They're missing Trevor Ariza. They're missing THT. Players that are decently good 3-point shooters and that are going to tremendously help the lineups and also help Russell Westbrook. But just looking at these clips, you can see Westbrook is just missing open shots. And these open shots that he's missing are nothing new if you've been following Westbrook for the last 3 years. He's never been a good 3-point shooter. He used to be a good mid-range shooter, but ever since the last 2 years, that's not been the case for Russell Westbrook anymore. Those shots that you're seeing in these clips is shots that the defender would welcome from Russell Westbrook since his biggest attribute is finishing. But onto his finishing, Russell Westbrook has been a below average finisher. His biggest attribute is becoming one of his biggest weaknesses. Going into the paint, he has shown he can do that consistently. But when it comes to finishing it, he has not. He is finishing well below league average. According to the shot chart, he is shooting at the minimum 9% less than league average. That's not due to Frank Vogel lineups. That's not due to DeAndre Jordan being on the court. That's just due to Westbrook's poor play. Another attribute that Westbrook brings to the team is that he could win you regular season games when LeBron James and Anthony Davis are out. And currently, LeBron James has missed 3 games this season, and the Lakers are 1-2 in those 3 games, with 2 of them being to OKC, where they had nearly a 20-point lead in both of those games, like I stated earlier, and lost both of them. And in the Spurs game, where they did win, they had a double-digit lead in that game, and it took them going into overtime to win. So currently, that attribute that Westbrook brings to the team, where he can win games when LeBron James and Anthony Davis are out, he just have not been doing that. And for my final point, and this is something I actually don't think is ever going to change about Russell Westbrook, and that's his turnovers. He's been averaging at least 4+ turnovers for the last 7 to 8 years. This is not something new. Westbrook always been committing high volume turnovers. He's already had a quadruple double with turnovers this season, and to bring it up again in that OKC game, they had 25 seconds left in the shot clock, plenty of time to set up a play, but Russell Westbrook decides to do what he always does, try to play 110% on offense and try to get a quick layup, and then he loses the ball and gets his first turnover of actually that game, which is actually kind of surprising. So the ending of the video. I know the Lakers is just 10 games into the season, Lakers fans. I also know that they're missing 3 key role players that are going to play crucial roles for the Lakers. I still do believe that this team is going to win 45 plus games this season, but it's still concerning to see these flaws watching the games even more glaring than even you might have anticipated. And since LeBron is set to miss at least another week or two, Russell Westbrook has to be playing better if they want to win, and Anthony Davis also. So tell me what you guys think in the comments section below. Am I tripping? Am I not? Like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm gonna try to upload at least 2 times a week since I am kind of busy right now, but I'm gonna try for y'all. So your boy Dream Hoops is out, man. Peace.